Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're taking a deep dive into um, the really fascinating world of human connection.
Yeah, and the challenges of how we see ourselves, right? And maybe most surprisingly, how love can blossom even when you're absolutely convinced it's impossible.
Exactly. Our source material for this deep dive comes from Sherryl Woods' novel, Moonlight Cove. It's part of her beloved Chesapeake Shores series.
And we're also pulling in some insights from her other popular books, like The Inn at Eagle Point and Harbor Lights. She really has this talent for crafting these, emotionally satisfying stories.
Absolutely. Stories about family, friendship, home, the really big stuff.
And our mission today, well, it's to uncover that intricate dance of relationships, especially when past hurts, personal struggles kind of cloud the path to happiness.
We'll explore how confronting those deep insecurities can actually maybe open the door to profound connection,
And why sometimes the person who understands you best is exactly what you need.
even if they're also the most infuriating person you know.
Precisely. Get ready for some surprising insights about self discovery and maybe the real magic behind finding your match.
Okay, so to really unpack how love blossoms in these unexpected ways, we first need to understand the challenging landscape inside our leading lady's head. Let's meet Jess O'Brien.
Right. She owns the inn at Eagle Point, and yeah, she's introduced as quite a complicated woman.
Complicated might be putting it mildly.
Yeah, I'd say so. Jess has been struggling really since early childhood with these deep feelings of abandonment. It all stems from her mother, Megan, leaving.
And on top of that,
And on top of that, she's been dealing with long undiagnosed attention deficit disorder, ADD.
which, for anyone listening who might not know, often involves challenges with focus, organization, emotional regulation.
Things that profoundly shaped Jess's view of herself. Her belief that she can't stick with things, even though she's running a successful inn.
That's such a crucial point. She often sees herself as the O'Brien who can't do anything right. That phrase just hits home, doesn't it? Her deep insecurity despite her actual achievements.
It really does. And it makes you think, how many of us carry around a similar inner critic, a label we've just sort of internalized no matter what we accomplish?
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that sometimes those stories we tell ourselves about ourselves are the biggest roadblocks.
Absolutely. And into this whole complicated world steps Will Lincoln,
Wow. Well,
a psychologist who, get this, has been in love with Jess for most of their lives.
wow, okay.
He understands her flaws better than most, apparently, and loves her unconditionally. Sounds perfect, right?
Almost too perfect.
Yeah.
It does raise that interesting question. Is that level of deep understanding a blessing? Or is it kind of curse in a relationship?
Exactly. I mean, on one hand, having someone truly get you, flaws and all, sounds amazing.
But Jess fears he just sees her as a psychological case study.
And that's a classic tension, isn't it? When someone really sees us, warts and all, they see the vulnerabilities.
Which for some people is comforting, but for others.
It can feel like being figured out, scrutinized even, like
Okay.
your defenses are just gone.
It really highlights how vulnerability, even when it's met with love, can still feel, well, exposing.
Precisely. So, okay, we've got Jess and Will, this complex dynamic, years of history, hidden feelings. How do they even start something romantic?
The catalyst is actually pretty surprising. It comes from her friends Connie Collins and Layla Riley.
Right? They turn up with a very modern solution, online dating.
Connie's 41, single mom, daughter just went off to college. Layla's 36, bank manager, just broke up with her boyfriend.
And they're both kind of bored with their single lives, basically.
So Layla finds this new local dating service, Lunch by the Bay. It covers the broader region, Annapolis included.
Jess, though, she's the skeptic. She's like, are there really any single guys around here we don't already know?
And she's worried about the humiliation factor, right? Getting matched with someone she's already dated.
Totally relatable in a small town setting, isn't it? That fear of the familiar just being too awkward.
Okay, wait a second, though. You said Layla discovered Lunch by the Bay. But who actually founded it? This is where the plot just throws this huge curveball.
Go on.
It's Will Lincoln, the psychologist. The guy secretly in love with Jess.
No way.
Yes. He launched this dating service, partly to meet people, sure, but also, and this is key, to check out his criteria for himself. He's hoping to find the woman of his dreams.
Wow. Okay, talk about a conflict of interest. That's complicated.
It's more than just a quirky plot twist, though, isn't it? It really shows those blurred lines when personal desires mix with professional stuff.
It really does. It makes you wonder, how often do our professional things secretly serve some deep personal need we have?
Good question. So despite all her skepticism, Jess is actually the first one to fill out the online form.
Right. And well, he's sorting through the applications and suddenly he sees Jess, Layla, and Connie. He's stunned.
He finds matches for Connie and Layla pretty easily, like multiple possibilities for each.
But here's the real kicker. Jess, the woman he's wanted for ages. His own system leaves her completely unmatched.
That just ramps up the tension, doesn't it? You have to wonder, is there history? His deep understanding of her just too complex for an algorithm?
It really speaks to that unpredictable, sort of unquantifiable nature of human connection. You can't just plug it into a formula.
So what happens next?
Well, then Will actually asks Layla out to lunch.
Layla, not Jess.
Layla. He admits partly it's to test his system, see if it works, and also because she seemed like, quote, the least threatening opportunity.
Ouch. But okay.
Their date, it reveals shared interests, fine, but crucially, no chemistry. Zero spark.
And what's really telling is what Layla does afterwards. She's honest with Jess.
Super honest. She basically says she had to tell Jess about the date because Jess was like this huge elephant in the room.
Wow.
And she flat out tells Jess that Will has feelings for you. It's that friend nudge, seeing the obvious when the person involved can't or won't.
So how did Jess react to that?
She's visibly disconcerted, rattled, but she doubles down on the denial.
Never dated Will, obnoxious, infuriating, patronizing.
Yeah. All of it. She even attacks the service itself, saying it's a fraud if it couldn't even match her with Will.
Which is so illogical, but so revealing, right? Her frustration isn't really about the dating service.
Not at all. It's about her own tangled feelings for him that she just can't admit, maybe even to herself.
And then things escalate. There's that moment at Brady's bar.
The kiss. Will just unexpectedly kisses her.
And she's completely thrown, surprised, disoriented, shaken.
And everyone sees it. It becomes the hot gossip in Chesapeake Shores instantly.
That's definitely a turning point. It forces her to confront that spark, that undeniable something between them.
Definitely. And while Jess is wrestling with all this, the novel cleverly shows us other characters grappling with similar feels around love and commitment.
Like Connie, right. Jess's friend also kind of related through marriage.
Exactly. She's struggling with feelings for Jess's uncle Thomas O'Brien.
He's the workaholic, running the foundation to protect the Bay.
Right. And he pursues Connie pretty boldly, despite her being nervous about it and her brother Jake being protective.
He even chases off her blind date from lunch by the Bay. That's bold.
Very bold. Makes his intentions crystal clear. And eventually, they do go on an official date to Brady's.
So, while Jess is stuck in her fear and denial, Connie's story kind of shows a different path. Sometimes being direct, even if it's jarring at first, works if people are ready.
It highlights a different kind of vulnerability, maybe. One where bold action actually pays off.
And then there's Mac and Susie.
Ah, yes. The not dating couple. For 3 years.
Mac's the semi-famous sports columnist who insists he doesn't do love.
Because his father abandoned his family, right? That fear of commitment runs deep.
And it echoes Jess's own issues with abandonment and attachment, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It drives home that universal truth. Those old wounds, if we don't deal with them, often show up as resistance to connection, even when love is right there.
And Will tries to help Mac see it.
Right.
Acting as both friend and psychologist.
Yeah, he pushes Mac, points out, look, you've been committed to Susie for 3 years, even if you don't call it that. Basically saying, you're already in it, buddy. Admit it.
That's powerful. Sometimes we're living our truth long before we can actually say it out loud.
So true. And this brings us back to Jess, because she does start to open up more to Will. It's gradual, but it happens.
He tells him about her past, right? Using sex to try and connect when she was younger.
Yeah, she confides that she did that in her teens because she felt so lonely, so out of place after her mother left. It's heartbreaking.
It really gives you a window into her past pain, but also just that fundamental human need for connection, even if we seek it in ways that aren't maybe the healthiest.
And Will, with his psychologist brain, but also, his heart.
He connects the dots. Her reluctance with intimacy, her fear of abandonment, back to her parents' divorce, her ADD.
And he argues her whole self-perception is skewed. He gives her that amazing speech.
The one where he says, you have to stop defining yourself by your ADD. You're Jess O'Brien, owner of a successful inn. You're beautiful, smart, funny, impulsive, just a little crazy, and quite possibly the most exciting woman on the planet.
Whew, quite the declaration.
It is. But does just telling someone they're worthy actually fix that deep-seated self-doubt? Can it?
That's a fantastic question. And the book shows us, no, it's not usually that simple. It's not like flipping a switch.
Right.
Will's affirmation is crucial, absolutely. But Jess's journey involves him consistently, patiently countering those negative beliefs she holds, showing her the evidence against them.
Like the inn itself, her friendship with Gail, the chef.
Exactly. Pointing out her successes, her loyalties. But it takes work. She still doubts herself, calls herself a terrible bet, someone who doesn't stick with things.
And Will just patiently keeps countering that narrative.
Yes. And this internal struggle really comes to a head during that crisis at the inn.
The food order mix-up.
Yeah, something slips through the cracks, and Gail, her chef, calls her out on her focus being a bit lax lately.
Which gets linked back to her ADD. And Jess hates that, feeling like it's just an excuse.
But, and this is important, that same crisis highlights Jess's compassionate side.
With Ronnie Forrest, right. The employee who seems flaky maybe has ADD too.
Exactly. Jess gives him a chance when maybe others wouldn't have, and Ronnie, with encouragement from Gail, actually discovers this hidden talent for cooking.
Starts taking culinary classes. It's a great moment. It shows how understanding our own vulnerabilities can actually make us better, more empathetic leaders.
Beautifully put. And while Jess is dealing with all this, personal and professional, the dating service, Lunch by the Bay, hits a major snag.
Oh, right, the harassment issue.
Yeah.
The client starts making obscene calls to women.
Yeah, a really serious, scary situation for everyone involved, especially Will as the founder.
You have to handle it.
He acts immediately, contacts the authorities, offers support to the women affected. He's decisive and responsible.
And Jess's reaction.
She's furious at the guy doing it, naturally, and incredibly supportive of Layla, who actually comes to stay with her for safety.
So this crisis, horrible as it is, actually serves a purpose in their relationship.
It really does. It demonstrates Will's reliability in a very real way. It deepens Jess's trust in him. It shows he's not just talk, he shows up when things get tough.
And all this is happening against the backdrop of the O'Brien family.
Oh, the O'Briens!
Mm-hmm.
Led by Mick, Jess's dad, famously meddling, famously gossipy.
They're totally aware of the Jess-Will dynamic, right? Always trying to push them together or maybe protect them from each other. It's hard to tell sometimes.
It's that constant, sometimes amusing, sometimes irritating family buzz. We've all got relatives like that, haven't we? The ones who just want to help, but really just want the latest scoop.
Totally. But amidst all that family noise, there's a really significant moment with Megan, Jess's mom.
Yes, a huge step. She offers Will her own mother's engagement ring for Jess.
Wow, that's massive.
It is. It represents so much healing, so much acceptance in her relationship with Jess, who's carried that pain of abandonment for so long.
It's like passing the torch, acknowledging the past, but building for the future. A really powerful symbol.
Absolutely. And you start to see a shift in Jess, too. Despite her lingering fear, she begins to admit her feelings, at least a little.
She talked to her gram, Nell, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm. She confesses she might have made a mistake about Will, admits she has feelings, but then immediately says she thinks it's too late.
Classic Jess. Always finding the roadblock.
But her gram gives her such wise advice. Nell just says, if you want Will, reach out to him. I think it's time a move came from you.
It's a call for Jess to take control, right? To step up and take a chance herself after all this time.
Exactly. A reminder that sometimes we have to be the ones to make the move, even if it's terrifying.
And then Will,
Aww.
he seems to take that idea of making a move to a whole new level.
Oh, does he ever? The proposal at Moonlight Cove, it's spectacular.
Even though it's freezing cold weather.
He creates this incredibly magical scene, a bonfire, hundreds of candles, flowers, everywhere. And you have to get there by kayak.
It's deliberately over the top, isn't it?
Completely, and it feels very intentional, like he's countering Jess's practicality, maybe her past experiences with men who didn't deliver on romance.
It shows he really gets her, not just the psychological stuff, but her deeper emotional needs, too. He understands she needs that grand gesture.
It's tailoring the moment perfectly to the person, a masterclass, really.
So when the moment comes, he gives her two gifts.
Two incredibly significant gifts. His grandmother's antique golden diamond necklace.
And her great-grandmother's engagement ring, the one Megan gave him.
And he tells her, these aren't just things. They represent a long history of love, his unwavering belief that it will last a lifetime.
It's about legacy, commitment, bringing the past into their present but making it their own story.
Exactly. The symbolism is profound. And Jess, she's completely touched.
And she finally says it.
Finally. I love you, the first time she's ever said those words to him.
She acknowledges her lack of faith in the past, but promises to focus on their love now.
And just as they kiss, snow starts to fall. A perfect symbolic touch of magic to seal the moment.
So what does this all really mean then, this whole deep dive into Moonlight Cove?
I think it shows us that the path to true connection, it's hardly ever a straight line, is it?
No, definitely not. It's full of detours through our own insecurities, our past hurts, those complicated family dynamics.
We saw Jess, dealing with her ADD and abandonment issues, slowly learn to lean into vulnerability.
And Will's incredible patience, his deep understanding, that became the foundation for a love that you know is going to be challenging, but also incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, this deep dive really highlights that real relationships, they aren't just about finding someone who ticks the boxes, who's compatible.
It's more about choosing to see beyond the flaws, right? Confronting your own fears.
And taking that terrifying but also exhilarating leap of faith.
The journey Jess and Will take. And you see echoes in Connie and Thomas, even Mac and Susie. It shows us that sometimes the biggest obstacle to happiness isn't really external circumstances.
No, sometimes it's the stories we tell ourselves about our own worth, our capacity for love.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, maybe the question for you listening is this.
How do your own past experiences shape your present fears about commitment? And what might it take for you to take that critical step?
Knowing that sometimes the most meaningful connections, the really profound ones, lie just beyond that comfort zone.